Hey everyone, welcome to a special bonus episode of Locked On Lakers for a Saturday. Brian Kamenetsky, Andy Kamenetsky. The Lakers beat the Clippers 106-102 in a rock fight behind 59 combined points from LeBron and Luka. We'll break it down next.
You are Locked On Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Thanks to everybody for making Locked On Lakers first listen of every day, Monday through Friday, or sometimes on Saturdays. No matter how or where you get your podcasts, it's always free, never behind paywall. And Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where over 33,000 subscribers are impressed with the Lakers, who just keep winning despite some adverse circumstances. No Rui Hachimura out with a knee injury as suspected. We'll give you an update on him. Austin Reaves left this game in the after I think he played
9 minutes.
9 minutes.
9 minutes.
And did not return with a calf injury. We'll give you an update on him before we're done. But the Lakers, nonetheless, used 59 points to beat the Clippers 106-102, and they continue to move up the Western Conference standings. Andy, a game that is described as a rock fight is almost by definition one that you see as inelegant, not necessarily pretty, but as the old saying goes, it's better to win a rock fight than to lose one.
I think this is a win that Laker fans and the team itself can feel really happy about because, like you mentioned, they began the game under adverse circumstances just without Rui, going up against a full-strength Clippers team, and then they lose Austin 9 minutes into this. So from there, it's like you got to make this thing happen.
Well,
by any means.
Mostly full strength. Norman Powell didn't play.
Okay, check that. Norman Powell didn't play. That is a big deal. But there's still down more guys who matter than the Clippers. But yeah, Norman Powell should not be overlooked. But they end up winning this thing really by any means necessary. You get nearly 60 from your two stars in LeBron and Luka. Luka, in particular, had a really good second half that you hope is something that can be built on. 20 of his 31 points came in the second half, 5 of 11 from the field, 2 of 4 from behind the arc, 2 step-back threes in succession, 8 of 9 from the line. And also, it should be noted.
10 points in the fourth quarter. Yeah, help bring it home.
Also, I should be noted with Luka, for all the focus on his offense, which has come and gone as a Laker, more gone than come. And I get why it's been focused on, because he's Luka Dončić and he is supposed to be one of the highest operating one-man offenses, historically in the NBA, much less now. His defense has actually been much better than the reputation or the expectations. And tonight, I thought down the stretch, Luka was involved in several good defensive plays as well. So some really good signs from one of your two star players, especially down the stretch in a game when it was needed. And LeBron, just another very good showing from LeBron, who just seems to, just from Luka being there, have more energy and the ability to ration it out in ways that doesn't feel like he's just sort of building over the course of 4 quarters. Just, again, great work by LeBron.
It's first of all, that all those guys were playing. I mean, when we finished the show for Friday, coming off the win against Minnesota, Jackson Hayes was a question mark, and LeBron and Luka and Vanderbilt and all those guys played except for Rui, which we pretty much knew he was not going to be available. But the fact that Vando and Luka are both seen as safe, I guess, to play back-to-backs is a really good sign. There's no question about that. LeBron still able to do it, no ill effects from playing again on Thursday. And Luka, I feel, I don't want to make a huge deal.
Vando playing in a back-to-back too, just to make sure that.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned that. And it's I don't want to make a huge deal out of this, almost like we're infantilizing Luka, with every. I do think it was good to see, when he puts up 31 points, that it was actually built on a strong second half, because most of his bigger outputs and stuff like that have been more front loaded with the Lakers. And I say that because, star players can have good first half, good second half, whatever. But it just, to me, shows that maybe he's starting to get his legs underneath him a little bit more to care. Because this was a grinder of a game. The Clippers with Kawhi, the Clippers without Kawhi are very well coached and play very hard. The Clippers with Kawhi do both of those things, except now they have Kawhi. So that makes you better. And the Lakers were able to do this. They limited James Harden in a big way, 5 of 22 from the floor for him. And, Ivica Zubac was really the one that was really the only Clipper who
and Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn was fantastic.
He's had a sneaky good season for them, especially since being put in the starting lineup.
It's always cool too when guys like that, who drafted high, bounced around, seems like they were going to fall out of the league or didn't have a place, make those sort of comebacks. Yeah. He's been really, really good.
I honestly, and I don't mean this in exactly the same way. Like, Dunn has always been a very good, it's like the one thing you knew from him would be a great defender, but there was no offensive game to speak of. So, like, it was hard to keep him in a lineup. But, he's been averaging like 3.5 steals a game over the last month or so. It's crazy. But I think the Lakers, and we could talk about this maybe going into the week, hope for something like that with Jordan Goodwin, because he has played extremely well. He played extremely well again on Friday and was part of a bench unit that was badly needed for the Lakers. We'll get to them in a second, but I just, this was a game, a little bit of a different combination. No Austin Reaves. So your stars are going to need to put up a certain amount of points. Like we talked about that earlier in the year, like AR, LeBron, and AD, like you need 70 points or whatever, 75, like at a minimum. Well, when Reaves doesn't play, you're probably going to need close to 60 from LeBron and Luka. And they absolutely 100% provided that. And Luka, especially helping them in the fourth quarter, was a great thing to see.
You could tell that Luka was feeling good as this game went along, because I don't remember if it was right after the 2 step back threes that he hit, but pretty soon after he airballed a 3 and he was smiling. Like he actually was smiling and looking over his teammates, like his expression and his gestures were somewhere in between, like, I can't believe that happened and my bad, but he was laughing it off. And that I saw was just a really good sign of a guy that wasn't sweating it because he was feeling it. And he's like, I know I'm going to get it back, which he did. And, Rui, if I had to guess, he's going to miss, and it's purely a guess, but based on a little bit of what I've seen people talk about on Twitter, like sports medicine people, and just the idea that they're going to be, if I had to guess,
and cautious. Just other people commenting on Twitter. Anybody I see commenting on Twitter,
but people that actually are sports medicine people. I'm not listening to
I'm just messing.
Like John 70541 smiley
who
face
may
emoji.
Be a doctor. We don't know.
Well, until he calls himself Dr. John. Like I'm just going off actual sports medicine people. But like I'm sure they're going to be cautious. And frankly, this is not a team known for its quick recoveries anyway. So I am expecting Rui's going to be out about a week. If I'm wrong, because he's
they're Jovan Buhat at the Athletic said they're gonna look at him again in a week. Right knee tendinopathy is the
I'm seeing left.
Oh, left knee tendinopathy.
Yes,
one of them knees got some. Left patella tendinopathy. So he's got some. One of them knees got some tendinopathy going on in it. And they're going to look at him in a week. And whether he plays in a week or 2 weeks or whatever, the initial positive sign there is that they're looking in a week. Right. If it was really bad, then you would say, we're not going to look at him for 3 weeks and whatever. And, with Reaves, the the reaction seemed to be reasonably positive, that he might have been held out for somewhat precautionary reasons. They'll look at him again on Saturday into Sunday, but there wasn't an immediate concern that it might be something long term, like frankly there was with, you could read it on Redick's face with Rui on Thursday. That said, the Lakers, having just seen Luka miss 20 something games after injuring his calf on Christmas, I'm sure we'll be very careful with Austin. And Andy, I mention this every show. This is what winning games does. It lets you give Austin Reaves a little bit of extra time. It lets you make sure that Rui is completely whole. If you keep winning games while this happens, Lakers move to 37-21. They are a half game behind Memphis, only 1 game behind Denver for the 2 seed, and a half game now ahead of Houston, and way clear of the Clippers in the 6. Like, you've got some flexibility here to make sure players don't play through things that they shouldn't. It is remarkable how far the team has come.
You mentioned Jordan Goodwin, and after the game, JJ said that he pictures Jordan Goodwin being a part of the rotation moving forward, to which I responded on Twitter, damn right he does. But I was thinking about this. Jordan Goodwin was signed to a 2-way deal near the trade deadline. But for all intents and purposes, he's focused like the equivalent of a buyout market addition, and like a really good one at that. If you think about him along those lines, or like late addition to any team, he is up there in terms of effective additions this late in the season, maybe with any team in the league. Like I'd wait till the dust is cleared and, every buyout market guy is added across, the league and whatever. But he has been an incredibly important, unexpectedly, like a really pleasant surprise importance for this team. It was also to a night, the bench really deserves a shout out. Vando, Vincent, Trey Jemison, Jordan Goodwin, and Dalton Knecht, all 5 of them played very well. They combined for 29 points, which I realize between 5 people is not a lot, but for this bench unit, it's actually pretty prolific. But more important than that, their energy, like their continual energy, all 5 of them made game-shifting plays. Like, Vanderbilt, there were a couple sequences towards the end of the third where he absolutely put Harden in a defensive blender, really frustrated him. He knocked the ball away, dove from Harden, dove on the ground, drew a loose ball foul, got sent to the line. There was a play actually where Dalton Knecht got matched up against Harden, defended him really well in space, forced a miss. Trey Jemison set a few mothers of a screen to free up both Luka and LeBron for drives. Like I described them on Twitter, like Jemison is basically like a brick wall with legs, the way that he plays. But that physicality created a lot of offense that you wouldn't see in the box score. He also had 6 rebounds. Gabe Vincent had 4 steals in the second half. Like all of those guys, like we've talked a lot about the depth of this team being a concern, and then it becomes even magnified when Rui and Reaves are not available. Those guys stepped up huge on a night when everybody needed to chip in.
And we can quit off of this. Obviously, we'll be back following the rematch of this one on Sunday, and that one Norman Powell might be available for. He was questionable, I believe, heading into Friday's game, so we'll see. That'll be another good challenge for the Lakers if he's able to play. And there are other things that we want to unpack a little bit more, like we talked about. Potential fallout from how hard they are needing to play defensively. You wonder if guys starting to break down a little bit is related to that. But again, they hold an opponent to 102 points. This is really where they've been. The last thing we can say about this, obviously, you got your star performances from LeBron and Luka, like the output that you needed from those guys, and LeBron continues just to play really high end, and it seems to be revitalized in certain spaces. Not all of it, because some of it was starting before the trade. But the last thing I'll say, and we can quit, is one of the things that I've mentioned all season long about good teams is that they sort of play to the game plan and they execute at a level, even when some of their players aren't there. I use Memphis as an example of this all season long, with guys in and out of the lineup have been able to execute. The Thunder have had, Shea's been there all year, but Chet's been in and out, and Case and Wallace has missed time. Like, they've had guys in and out of the lineup. Hartenstein missed some time and they keep winning and they keep executing. The Lakers didn't do that early in the season. They absolutely are doing it now, where it almost doesn't matter which guys in the rotation are asked to contribute. They are executing the entirety of the game plan. And I think that's really where Jordan Goodwin has fit in incredibly well. They needed another backcourt player that was, they could use in the rotation to level things out. I think they hoped it might be Shake Milton. It has turned out to be Jordan Goodwin. They didn't matter who it was, just needed to be someone. So
6 points, 5 rebounds, including 3 on the offensive glass for Goodwin, 2 assists, 3 steals. I know I say this every time I talk about Goodwin, but he plays so much bigger than his size,
and he plays so hard. And that's so if you're building your identity, and you need guys, you need to play extraordinarily hard. He will do it for you. I will say, to get him on the playoff roster, the Lakers are going to have to cut someone. So they inevitably will do that, I think, before we get there. But he is currently not eligible to be on the playoff roster because,
but they have time to do it.
They have time to do it. They've got to convert. They'll have to convert him to a regular roster spot, and somebody will get cut. But anyway, Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where you go hang out with over 33,000 subscribers. Andy, we of course will be back after the game on Sunday, but we can't leave until we tell you about this.
The Locked On Lakers is brought to you by FanDuel. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on it than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout a game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can always combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. They've got features like the live betting feature that keeps every moment of the game exciting. Whether you're backing your team for a late game rally or picking a player for a clutch 3, you never miss a chance to get in on the action. The app is really easy to use. When you win, you can get paid instantly. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to join today. FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Lakers keep winning. We will see everyone after Sunday's game.